Marjan Satrapi was born on November 22 in 1969. Is an Iranian graphic novelist, cartoonist, illustrator, film director, and children's book author. Satrapi became famous worldwide because of her critically acclaimed autobiographical graphic novels, as Persepolis and Persepolis II, which describe her childhood in Iran and her adolescence in Europe. Persepolis won an Anglim Coup de Cœur award at the Anglim International Comics Festival. Comics Alliance listed Satrapi as one of the 12 women cartoonists deserving of Lifetime Achievement recognition. The major theme of the book is based on the difficult times Iran passed through the Islamic Revolution in 1979. The eventual replacement of Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi to the Persian monarchy took place in 2500 years. The movement was supported by a high range of Islamist and leftist organizations and students' movements. In 1977, the demonstrations against the Shah started and developed into a campaign of civil resistance until they paralyzed the country in 1978, when the Shah was exiled. The revolution was unusual because it surprised the world. Iran was a country with prosperity, but the war leads to financial crisis, peasant rebellion and disgruntled military, the result in the exile of many Iranians. Margie is a little girl raised in the middle of a war that is conscious of the country's situation. She grows up and lived many moments of pain and grief. Mom and Dad were two very important people who helped the revolution and friends to build Iran again as a better country. Uncle Anush was exiled and then executed by the regime. He was really close to Margie and creating her an example to fight and persevere. It's 1980 in Iran, and Marjan Satrapi has been forced to wear a veil at her school, which is now segregated. The boys and girls are separated. At the beginning of the years of political and religious problems in Iran, Marjan's mother and father often attend political protests and support revolutionaries when they can, including many of Marjan's relatives, like Uncle Anush. Uncle Anush was exiled to the USSR because the Iranian regime believed he was a spy. Uncle Anush teaches Marjan much about the world. Margie grows very close to Uncle Anush, and she takes it very hard when he is executed. Because of her mother, father, grandma, and uncle, Marjan at a young age wants to fix social inequalities and make the world into a place where people don't have to struggle. That's kind of hard to do when there are bombs falling on Tehran and killing Marjan's friends and family members. Eventually, Marjan's parents decide that Iran is not the place for her daughter they've raised. Marjan is a girl who is independent and outspoken. Her behavior gets her expelled from school, and her parents are afraid of a worse punishment. So they send Marjan to Vienna in a boarding house run by nuns. Marjan misses her family. She gets depressed and becomes homeless, living in the streets, making her so sick she cuts up blood. She survives and moves back home to Iran. Back in Iran, she continues doing what social activism she can, gets married, parties, and then gets divorced. All these things are steps on her way to finding her identity. After a couple of years, Marjan realizes that Iran is not for her, and she moves back to Europe, letting us know that she only got to see her beloved grandma once more before she died.